So the city protecting those people's rents who actually don't need it are hurting the average person because that's a small part of the population. The average person out there right now has to pay market rent, and they're struggling and they're paying thousands of dollars. Let's explain the rental replacement policy that the city of Toronto has. Go ahead.
That is a great idea. So the city of Toronto has a rental replacement policy in place that in some cases, I mean, makes a lot of sense because people shouldn't be displaced by the new project. Okay.
Sure, but what is it?
But you're not, basically anything over 6 rental units must be replaced in the new development at the same amount of bedrooms, the same or similar size square footage, and similar rents, which doesn't help a new project pro forma at all. What it does do is it protects the renters that are living in the building that you are planning to demolish, which, again, TK, I'm all
Protects
for
the
that.
renters. How?
Protects the renters. Well, currently
in 5 or 7 years,
it gives them the
right in.
First right of refusal to move back in
unit
at the same rent or similar rent.
Yeah,
which
you're
is
still alive.
Cool. I mean, you have to move out somewhere for 5 years and then come back, which is, I guess, okay for some. You have to pay for their move, and you have to find them like a new place to live.
And if they're living there, then, these type of things sort of make sense, right?
Well,
anyways,
I suppose they
long
do.
Story short is,
from one perspective,
they're trying to not take rental inventory off the market. So if there's somebody who's going to maybe turn it into condos or they're going to develop it into something else, you're removing rental units from the market that are obviously affordable because those tenants have been there a long time. So the city of Toronto is trying to protect the rental market by having affordable rental stock. Therefore, a developer has to incorporate this. So last week we polled you if you were going to move into a luxury or any condo building, would you be happy to have renters also in one part of the building at below market rents? And the majority of people said,
hell no. Yeah, hell no.
That's what happened.
Would be a nice way of
and
putting
so
it.
now the question for the poll is, do you think that we should even have to replace these units at all? And the answer is, who cares what we think? Because the city of Toronto thinks we should. So there is no like negotiation here. That's it.
Well, and so what the question turns into is, does the policy actually create more rentals? Or does it even keep, like, so in this case here, in this
case, it prevents rentals.
But I'm going to tell you that the reality is that rental replacement kills many, many, many deals. Okay.
Yes.
Many.
Yes. Seems like all the deals that we seem to work on have rental replacements.
Well, I mean, a lot of
land assembly deals in these core Toronto locations, there's tenants in them, and you're putting together 5-10 properties.
Not all, but a lot of them now.
There's tenants.
They used to be off limits because it was such a pain in the ass, and then the value spiked and started to make it worth it. And now, like, land.
And if you're on Bloor, then it's like, okay, great, I got to replace 20 units in my 400 unit building. So what? But if you're not in one of those downtown core locations, then
or you don't
replacing
have
10 or 20 units, becomes a challenge when you've only got, slightly more than that.
Right. So first of all, like, when you have a willing seller and a willing buyer in land, I mean, that's pretty much a miracle if you can get it to a point where, everybody's ready to sign something and in agreement. So when you have that, for the city to destroy it over, 30 rental replacements, because, and this is how I'm thinking about it. Okay. And I'm not trying to be a heartless developer, because I'm not. The reality is the new building is mainly rentals. Okay. All these buildings downtown, not all, but like most of them,
70 or 80% or
whatever the percentage really is, are rental stock. Okay. They're purchased by investors. They're rented out in the market. They're AirbNb'd, whatever the fuck they are. But a lot of them end up being rental stock. So if you hold up a 300 unit development or a 200 unit development or 100 unit development, because you have to have 30 rental replacements in the building, a lot of deals, they just fall apart because it's almost impossible to make sense of the numbers, right? Because And then on top of it, you have that stigma where it's like, first of all, when you're building a condo, you're not
The
like trying
people
to
on the
build.
fourth floor, they pay below market rent. Just if you get in the elevator with one of the people on the fourth floor, just
No, they have to
hold
have a
your purse.
separate elevator,
Make sure
right?
you hold your purse when you're in the elevator with them. Don't let them look you in the eyes.
But the reality is
That's what it
listen,
feels like.
but the condo developer's looking at the deal and he's going to make a luxury building, right? Like he's going to try and attract people with some money because for 400 square feet, you need $1 million or 700,000 or whatever it is, right?
Sure.
And be willing to live in 400 square feet and have all that money, which I don't even understand. But unless you're an investor, of course. So having said that, it is my firm belief, TK, that the
Yeah.
policies in place are not working towards what they are supposed to be working for. And what we end up with is bureaucracy that has to stick
Yeah.
to rules because that's what the rules say instead of going, you know what, like, hang on a sec. Maybe there's a better way of doing this because you're going to make like 400 units, of which we know just by his historic data that like let's even say 20% of them will be rentals. It's more than the fucking rentals you're replacing right now. Maybe 20% isn't, but let's say 50%. Okay. Like by allowing the development, you're creating more rental stock. Is it at the same fucking stupid prices they were at in 2005? Probably not. And
But
what?
could it prevent prices? So imagine if we had this 10 years ago. Let's take a little trip down memory lane. 10 years ago, okay? If we were able to create, okay, 100,000 more rental units because this policy didn't exist, right? Think about that. We'd have 100,000 more units in the rental housing stock. Would it be $3,000+ for a 2 bedroom in Brampton right now? I don't think so.
I'm
I think that couple with the 2 years worth of rent would be living in a nice, beautiful home in Aurora, where they would want to live in.
Yeah,
Maybe
how do
they
they
would
have all
pay
that money?
maybe they would pay more than they were before.
How do,
But they would pay less than what they're going to end up paying.
why don't they
Right.
use
And
it
so
for a down
overall, the
payment?
average rents come down because of rental stock. So what the government's doing is the city's trying to say, well, we're trying to protect those rents. We want that $1,100 rent, that $900 rent. We want those to still exist. We want people to have that option. And who is paying for that? The guy who can afford $3,500 a month rent. The guy who can afford to pay $6,000 a month rent. He has to pay an extra $1,000 more. So that other guy, right, who honestly, these people, Daryl, who are paying low rents, look, this is an overgeneralized statement here. Don't get me wrong. Somebody in the comments will be able to tell me that this is not the truth in every case. But the majority of people who have low rents can afford to pay more rents in the city of Toronto. It's not like we're talking about people who are on welfare or ODSP in the downtown. Like those are very few people that exist today.
Can afford to pay
Can
more
afford to
or
pay more.
can't?
Can.
Can. Yeah,
Can.
yeah. Yeah, because they've
Absolutely.
been paying
They've been there for
fucking
20
cheap
years. They've
rent
been
for
paying
20 years. Yeah.
$900. They're getting away with murder. They're not leaving. And I've dealt with these people. So again, I could be wrong, but the people that I see, they've got great jobs. They've got great businesses. They've got cars. They've got so many different things. And they're like, look, I've been here long enough. This is my rent. They know what they're doing. Right. Are there examples? Of course, that people can afford, no doubt. But I'm just giving you, I'm telling you, the majority of them can't. So the city protecting those people's rents who actually don't need it are hurting the average person because that's a small part of the population. The average person out there right now has to pay market rent and they're struggling and they're paying thousands of dollars more. So I
So,
agree. The policy 10 years ago could have created more housing stock to be able to have more of options for people today.
well, and what's crazy is the policy came into effect in like 2007, and they claim that they've saved 5,000 homes. 5,000
A
homes,
hundred
man.
thousand more would have been created.
How, forget 100,000. Do you understand how many like hoops and loops and things you got to do to replace rental? Okay. Like, do you even understand how much work is involved and what the costs are involved? Like, even if you could kind of make the deal make some sense, you'd be like, why do I want to do this? Like, I'll just go buy something that doesn't have this shit.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our clips channel. Why don't you go and check out some more clips? We got lots of other good content somewhere over here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Boom.
That was good.
That was good. I like that. That was good.